If I could turn back time. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Bean Buddies. I am Ian Meyer, joined per usual by Scott the Gooch Krause, the purveyor of jugs himself, pretty much the bad boys of podcasting. How are you, Scott?
Sup, mensch? Wamp wamp.
How have you been, Scott?
I've been good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Did you have a good week?
It was fine.
Work was okay?
Yeah. My final days. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're ramping up to the end.
Yeah, no one cares, but it's happening.
All right. Well,
That's
care.
my life.
Tell me about it later.
Yeah.
I'll swaddle you and hold you near and close to me, and we can talk about it.
I need physical support.
Scott, you know what we're doing today?
Remind me.
We're here to taste test some coffees produced by bands in cohorts with beaneries. What's the brewery equivalent?
Beaneries?
Yeah, beaneries, right?
Roasteries?
Roasters.
I think our guest might be able to help us with this.
Here to help us do that today is our own in-house bean connoisseur and prior guest of the podcast, Dan Mitchell, a.k.a. Dan Number One, Stronger, Better, Faster. Dan, how are you?
Hey.
It's our resident bean man.
What's up, guys?
What's up,
Our resident...
mensch? Wamp wamp.
Scott, you're correct. Our resident beanman. You get credit for that. That's good.
That's a Scott original.
Beanman, I'll accept it.
All
It's
right.
not a term we use, but
So what do you call them?
let's do it.
Why don't we use it?
Bean roasteries? Roast beaneries? Bean...
Yeah, I mean, any cafe that roasts their own coffee, you just call it a roaster.
A roastery.
Every roaster is a cafe 99% of the time, but every cafe is not a roaster. So
Goddamn.
just because a place serves coffee doesn't mean they roast that coffee. They could have another place roast their coffee for them. It's not. It's pretty common.
Okay.
All right, so today we're doing something a little different, boys. We've got 3 coffees that are licensed by 3 different artists and or musical projects.
I just want them beans.
You can't get enough beans, you know. I would say I'm a bean freak, so I can't wait for us to dive in.
I'm becoming a bean freak.
Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee.
They're in cahoots.
Yeah, cahoots.
Yep.
Or produced by the band themselves.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, not in these 3.
Okay.
That is a good point, though. It'd be interesting to see how much input each band actually gives to develop their own coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are they there cupping the coffees and like really combining it, or do they just say make a coffee for us and then the head roaster just does whatever and they make it look nice? But
I assume that's probably how it is. I assume that's how it is with the beers too, where they just, for the most part, it's like
they phone it
there's
in.
a roaster that's like, hey, try this. And they're like, oh, that's good. And then they put the name on it.
Yeah.
So
Band goes up and says, hey, make us an IPA.
yeah.
Is it good? Yeah, can you put our name on it?
Yeah. It's like
That's the conversation.
probably.
Maybe. We don't know.
But we have our buddy Dan here who is a coffee expert. And you mentioned cupping before. That's something that we're going to be doing on this podcast. Can you go into detail or just briefly discuss what that means?
Sure. Yeah. And thanks for calling me an expert. I've been in coffee. I have a pretty good extensive background in coffee. It started out of necessity in college. For the longest time, I was more of a tea drinker. And then more and more, I needed more caffeine. So I started doing coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more I drank coffee, I was like, oh, like, how do you do really good coffee? And it was like, oh, well, roast yourself, grind it yourself. So in college, I was kind of roasting my own coffee.
I remember that.
Yeah, on a little...
like a popcorn
Yeah, you
roaster?
can go to any like Goodwill, thrift store, find... more so the older popcorn machines are better than the really new ones. Which is funny because they got hotter. So popcorn pops at a lower temperature than coffee like roasts.
Oh.
So the older ones usually get a little bit hotter and they do better and they're made a little better so they hold up, since your coffee takes like 10 to 15 minutes to roast versus popcorn is like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So you have that thing at like max temperature for a while. Mm-hmm. So they kind of burn out.
It's interesting you mentioned popcorn because one of the coffees we have today is actually a coffee corn hybrid.
Right. and I work in the agricultural industry, and that's completely possible.
Yeah.
Certified.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, glad that was confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's
So-
possible, and it's obviously because it's in front of us.
It's in front of us, but you don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
To be introduced.
That's for damn true.
You gotta wait. So pretty much my coffee started as necessity. So I was roasting really small amounts at home. I got like a really cheap hand grinder and I was like hand grinding coffee. And then my first job out of college was more in the technical field, and I got a part-time job at a coffee shop. I worked at Pete's Coffee for about 6 months in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great time with some good people. And I spent the last 2 years in Chicago working for a company, Limitless Coffee and Tea.
Right.
Started as a barista there, worked up to manager. I did training, equipment setup, kind of the gamut of stuff. I've worked in the kitchen some too. That was like, so a little bit of everything there.
And that was a smaller establishment, right? Or are they?
Yeah, it depends which way
expanding
you look at it.
Okay.
They didn't have a retail location yet when I moved there, so they were doing like pop-ups and working with a couple of the coffee shops.
Is Pete's national?
Pete's is national, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know actually.
Maybe
I
it's
don't know
just
if I would say
Western.
that.
I think it's based in California, so I don't
It's
know.
it's based out of California.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah,
You moved up pretty quick at that
Limitless
place in
Coffee and
Chicago.
Tea. Yeah, they're a startup company. So they are backed by a pretty big entrepreneur. So he's able to raise a lot of money and expand quick.
Mm-hmm.
Business wise, they are very small as far as like management.
Okay.
So I was doing like a little bit of everything. There wasn't like a management team where there's one person that does equipment setup and there's one guy that only does training and there's one. So I was doing a little bit of everything.
But they've recently expanded a lot, right? Because I feel like I've seen their products on shelves out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them I've seen the cold brew they do at a Safeway. I've seen they're in every Walmart.
Yeah.
They do a lightly caffeinated sparkling water,
Okay.
which is delicious.
That sounds really good.
No calorie, no sugar. It's like a LaCroix with 25 milligrams of caffeine.
That's awesome.
So
Also, we're not sponsored by
a
Limitless.
lightly caffeinated LaCroix,
Yeah.
delicious flavors.
We could
It's a
be.
brilliant
Shout
idea.
out Limitless Coffee and Tea. Yeah, they do a great. It's a delicious beverage. Yeah, so check
Okay.
it out.
Yeah.
Hey, Limitless, if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at earbuddiespod.
And their bottled cold brew is pretty swell as well. That's also widely available. I'd say the lightly caffeinated is any audience, like anybody would appreciate the lightly caffeinated. It's pretty much like a Coke
Mm-hmm.
amount of caffeine.
Oh, that's cool.
Without the sugar.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
LaCroix flavored with amount of like a Coke or a Pepsi caffeine. So it just kind of keeps you going throughout the day
Yeah,
without any
interesting.
bunch of sugar or any like unnatural ingredients. That's a
Oh,
really good
that's
pitch
awesome.
for them. But yeah, it's delicious. So I worked with them for about 2 years and did everything other than coffee roasting. Recently moved back to Sacramento, and upon moving back, got hitched up with coffee roasting company by the name of Temple Coffee.
You married Temple? And you
I
needed to buy
married
this?
Temple Coffee. I feel like I'm married. They're such great people. I would, if they propose to me or if they accept my proposal, I would say yes.
That would be a decent proposal.
Yeah. So Temple Coffee, they've been around for a while now in Sacramento. Anybody from here is probably familiar. They're pretty well known.
It's a
Coffee shop. They have about 5 locations, 4 in Sac, 1 in Davis.
It's a respected brand out
Very
here.
well, yeah.
Not sponsored by them either.
For
but
good reason.
Yeah, they're very, very high quality.
Lara Croft would like to raid that temple.
That's pretty good.
Can't argue that. So I've been with them going on 5-6 months now as a production coffee roaster. So if you go to the S and 29th Temple, for now, I'm there 5 days a week on their little orange ProBat
Hell yeah.
coffee roaster.
How's that compared to your popcorn thing?
Hard to compare.
Hard to compare.
Yeah. So the popcorn popper roasts like a third of a cup of coffee uncontrollably, and the roaster we have, it's a 15 kilogram ProBat from the 50s. It's very old, but it's been refurbished. And it'll do ideally like about 25 pounds of coffee at a time.
Hell yeah.
And then about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's like 100 pounds an hour.
It's the perfect
comfortably.
serving size.
Yeah.
25 pounds.
It's about what I do in a day.
Yeah. I weigh about 25 pounds, so.
But yeah, that's kind of, so I've done everything a little bit.
So
Mostly, so I front loaded a lot of barista and then management training, which made me dive a lot more into like the sciences of coffee. And then roasting gives me like an appreciation for that aspect.
So we brought Dan in as our dean of the bean. He's our beansman.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Dean of the bean. I think that was most of it. Yeah. So the last 5 months at Temple Coffee, bunch of great people. They semi supplied us today. So they gave us, they let us borrow all the cupping glasses we have, the cupping spoons.
It's an
graciously
unwilling, or not unwilling, but unknown sponsorship.
Yeah, well, I
unestablished
asked and
sponsorship.
explained why I wanted to borrow them.
Oh, okay.
So they know it's in support of
a
podcast.
Oh, okay.
Reviewing three.
That's more than I
Because
realized.
I told them they were excited if I could borrow them, and then they could try them as well. So that was.
Before you mentioned that, I actually thought these were yours for some reason.
I brought everything except the little cups and the spoons.
And these spoons are very heavy. So
Heavy duty spoons here.
I'm going to clink them into the mic here.
Yeah.
You can kind of...
Here's what one sounds like on a glass.
It's a very, very heavy, very round, notably round, shallow spoons. Perfect for slurping. I think we've completed our demonstration.
Yeah. So thank you, Temple, for supporting me as far as being one more step in the direction of my coffee knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
Been a wonderful 5 months. Thank you for the glasses and the spoons. And everybody go check out Temple at any of their 5 locations.
Yeah.
Has some delicious coffees, changing seasonally, super approachable. They got the most nice, best baristas that just really want to help and give you that perfect cup. They want to work with
Makes
you
all the difference.
to get what you want, not what they want to give you.
I love what I want.
Which is special.
And then go to the back and check out Dan.
And if you go to the SN 29th Temple,
go throw some beans
you
at
can
Dan.
stand in line for the bathroom and look at my back because I sit and face the opposite way, so I won't see you. And it's very loud, so I probably won't hear you if you try to talk to me either.
Hey,
but I might.
You're facing us right now, but I can tell the listeners from experience, it's worth the drive to check out the back of Dan.
Based on my front, that back must be nice too.
Yeah. Ass so fat you could see it from the front.
You asked me about cupping.
Yeah.
So before I talked about my wonderful background, cupping is to coffee just a really specific way and kind of a traditional way to kind of taste a lot of coffees quickly and efficiently.
Mm-hmm. So it's the easiest preparation to just like taste things side by side.
Yes,
and it's
correct.
Like the most consistent way to do that.
You cup coffee. It could be for many different reasons. Sometimes, like when you're in origin, so where the coffees come from, and they harvest the coffees, they'll cup all of them with different roasters that are there that want to buy the coffees.
Right.
And then they'll taste them all in a line and then see what they want. You could also cup coffee. In the instance of my work, we cup everything that we roast every day, Monday through Friday, to make sure it all tastes good. So that's a consistency roast. You can also do like or consistency cupping.
That's pretty awesome.
You can also do it for like quality cupping as well.
So how many times do you cup per day then?
I'll Monday through Friday I'll usually cup once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the head roaster and the director
All
of
at
coffee,
once.
they set up 2 cuppings a day. So each shift, there's 2 shifts of production roasters.
Okay. I will withhold my opinion on Temple, although I will say it's not negative. I like Temple. It's really good.
I don't know if I've ever actually been to Temple.
It's really good coffee.
You should check it out.
Or did I have their cold brew there at one time? Is that what you...
All the coffee I've shared with you has been Temple coffee, so I think you like it.
I think I got kind of fucked up off their cold brew one time. Now that you mention
That's
it.
not
And then we
uncommon of any cold brew. Yeah.
Went to Scott's mom's for something.
If
I
you're
think it was when you
sensitive to cold
graduated.
brew,
Weird
or
memory.
sensitive to caffeine,
I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine.
cold brew, since it's extracted over a long period of time, the caffeine content per ounce is really high.
It's like better for your stomach though, right? It's lower acidity.
Lower acidity, lower bit. Yeah, it's just smoother in every aspect, but stronger.
I love it. All right.
So kind of getting back on
Trying to
subject.
bring this to a science thing.
Cupping, it's a really easy, simple, rudimentary form to taste a lot of coffee. It doesn't necessarily result in the best cup of coffee. It's all about, like
It's
we're talking
comparison.
about.
Yeah.
So you'll commonly see in like a public cupping, there'll be anywhere from 30 to 50 cups of coffee all lined up as we kind of do this process, we're going to walk everybody through kind of a cupping and kind of explain as we go.
Yeah. We'll come back to the process as we do it.
But yeah,
that would make more sense.
In its simplest form, there's no other way to taste this many coffees at once. If you think of all the different brewing methods, you usually only brew 1 cup or 2 cups at a time.
Yeah.
So tasting multiple, sometimes up to 50, would be really hard.
Yeah.
And
It makes the most
fair.
sense for us. We're doing this 3 coffees times 3 people, so it makes the most sense for us to do it this way.
What's that one? I'm gonna blank on the word. I don't even know if you guys know when people are sensitive to like sounds.
ASMR.
ASMR, yeah. You have to do. There's gonna be a lot of slurping.
Oh yeah.
So the way, specifically with cupping, you do not pick up a cup and drink from it like you would a normal
we should warn
beverage.
people. Yeah.
We have nice stainless steel cupping specific spoons. So yeah, for a cupping, you would just grab a little bit of coffee in the spoon and then you do a slurping motion, which results in a pretty loud noise if you're doing it correctly. The louder, the better usually.
We'll do our best. Our mics are on a swivel, so when we cup, we'll try
Don't
to
give
move
them
them.
all our secrets. Christ.
Well, just trigger warning, there might be slurp noises,
Now they
but we'll do
know.
our best. Yeah. So if that doesn't sound like something you're ready for, then
listen anyway.
then keep listening because we need you here. So Ian, why don't you talk about the coffees here we got?
So we have Dusty Notes, which is a collaboration between Dark Matter Coffee and the Meat Puppets.
Yes.
We have Korn Koffee,
Korn Coffee.
which isn't in collaboration with anybody.
Yeah, that's the one I thought maybe they had their own little plant or something.
Korn's own coffee. You know,
It's out of Bakersfield.
it's actually a coffee corn hybrid.
That's wow.
There's beans on those cobs.
They have the technology. Is that cob with a K?
It is.
Huh.
Yeah, they patented it.
And it should be noted that on the package here, it says corn and then coffee is also with a K.
Yes, it is.
And it is brewed in Bakersfield, California, established 1993.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when they formed.
Oh, okay.
About.
It says because of our passion, we've gotten together with a roaster and handcrafted our very own. So they got
Okay.
together. They got in bed with the roaster, dog.
That's
I'll come
probably
back
the
around
most like hands-on one out of the bunch, I would think.
If
Maybe
only-
maybe the last one too, but I don't
If
know.
we were a fly on that wall, we'd smell what the rock is cooking.
Beautifully put.
And then we have Valhalla Java Odinforce from
Java.
Zakk Wylde. Collaboration with
Death Wish.
Death Wish Coffee. I'm taking credit for that. In the edit. Post.
Wow. So much power.
Do you guys follow Zakk Wylde on Instagram at all?
No.
Pretty sure I asked you guys that.
0%.
He's an interesting dude, and he advertises this a lot on there, and they're very strange. I like his Instagram.
The thing that I think I like the most that Zakk Wylde's ever done, he was on an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
That's awesome.
He was trying to help. I think he was trying to help Shake write a new birthday song because Happy Birthday was like copyrighted.
Oh, Jesus.
Of course.
That's kind of awesome, though.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to get into it? Let's
Let's discuss the
let's
musical. Okay, yes. Let's cup.
You guys ready to cup?
Let's
Cup.
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 1, 2, 3, cup.
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 And
Cup.
So for those of you listening, we are on a large table. We got coffee everywhere.
It's long.
Everything's pretty set up. So what we have going right now, each of us has a glass of pre-measured ground coffee of each coffee that we're going to taste. So everybody has one of each coffee.
Correct.
And pretty much the way you set up a cupping is you pre-measure everything, all your beans out in your cup, and you grind it into that cup.
So Dan has done us the favor by measuring each individual cup so that everything is consistent, right?
Yeah.
So
we
we have
have
the same amount of weight of grounds.
the priority of cupping is to get the same amount of coffee in each thing and the same amount of water in each cup to eliminate any other variable other than the coffees themselves.
The preparation is the same. All the measurements are the same. So we should have like a true opinion on our preferences.
Yeah.
That's the theory.
That's the goal anytime you cup. Yeah. So each glass has a measured amount of coffee. I'm going to take some boiling water and fill each glass to the top. And then we're going to let it sit for about 4 minutes before we continue.
Alrighty.
Hell yeah.
So while Dan fills up our cups, you guys want to talk about each individual band and your kind of background with them?
Give me your backgrounds of these guys. What are your relationships to these bands?
Me first?
Yeah.
I'm going to just straight off make this short and sweet. The Meat Puppets are the only band that I enjoy out of this lineup.
Wow.
I never really liked Ozzy's like solo stuff that much, and I didn't really care for Black Label Society. So Zakk Wylde's out. I love Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so he's a little bit higher than Korn for me. I think people know that how I feel about Korn, despite Ian's wishes.
My attempts.
And then Meat Puppets have a classic. Meat Puppets 2 is a straight up banger. It's a classic album, one of the best. They aren't consistently great, but I really like a lot of their stuff. So yeah, I love the Meat Puppets.
Nice.
Yeah, some freaky punk stuff, some like southern punk.
I will say that Meat Puppets are bottom of the list for me.
Yeah, I figured.
That's number 3. Yeah. I mean, they've got some cool songs, I guess. I listened through their material a bit. I just don't really like them that much.
People who are not familiar with Meat Puppets might actually be familiar with the Meat Puppets because of Nirvana Unplugged.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of
Unknowingly.
people... Yeah, a lot of people hear the songs from Kurt Cobain's covers on Nirvana Unplugged.
Zakk Wylde is probably second for me. Well, actually, is definitely. I don't know why I said probably second. He's a great guitarist. It's not necessarily my style. I've seen some videos of him when he was younger doing some chicken picking, and it was incredible.
Chicken picking?
Chicken picking, yeah.
Now, wait one chicken picking moment.
Yep. I found the video like 3 times, and I haven't been able to find it since. I need to find it again. He's like 20.
Wait
like
just
22.
one chicken picking, finger licking, tough big dickin'.
Tub big dickin'. I'll give you one finger licking, chicken picking, tip of my dickin'
Charles Dickens
moment. He just seems like an interesting dude, and it's cool that he made these. And I don't necessarily always agree with his music, but
this is his label
cool
is by
stuff.
far the coolest. Valhalla Java is like
coolest name.
Coolest
too.
name. An insane looking logo. It's just like a gold
Best package.
Yeah, it's just all gold and black. It looks awesome. Looks like a black metal cover.
Yeah.
I will say, go ahead, Dan. You first. I'll talk about.
Did I say I was done?
I said you're done.
Okay, corner my boys. There, I'm done. Fucking happy now. Dan,
I'm
go.
ecstatic.
Dan, number 1, go.
Better, faster, stronger Dan here.
You're just doing laps around the kitchen. You came back.
I'm in a weird spot with all these bands because...
It's a weird mixture.
Oh, all these artists. Because, I mean, Zakk Wylde is just one guy.
Yeah.
He's not really a band. Meat Puppets I have no background with other than the Nirvana Live stuff that I heard. So I appreciate that. That's cool. I listened to them actually for the first time when we were going to set up for this podcast. And I was really surprised because the name is pretty intense and I expected a lot different sound.
Yeah, I had the
Meat
same
Puppets,
experience
like,
when I was in high school.
I heard Meat Puppets, Korn, and Zakk Wylde. I was like, okay, they're all hardcore. So I think Meat Puppets is the closest thing to what I would listen to in my current, like, at my current age and taste in music.
Yeah.
So they're cool. Korn, I have an interesting background because I used to listen to them as like a frustrated teenager. Ian knows this.
I was just going to ask you about that. I was like, I couldn't remember if you actually listened to them.
A memory of, I don't know how their live set at CBGB.
We talked about that one time,
I feel like we watched that up in my parents' bedroom together, like some.
Did we?
Yeah.
My memory is that we watched it separate and then kind of talked about it because I was like, I don't know, I didn't really like it for some reason. You were like, I thought it was pretty good.
I remember talking about it with you, yeah. So I have that.
We might have watched it.
I do have to admit that at a younger age, I did listen to Korn. I think I had their best of album.
Hey, don't be ashamed.
Had their best of album, listened to it. And I think at that age of like a frustrated, like young teen.
It was time and place.
You watch CBGB and he has, I don't remember their lead singer's name, but he had that
Jonathan
mic stand.
Davis. Yeah, the bitch. It's called the bitch.
And I was like, that's awesome. That's
Yeah. I had the same moment.
That's what it is.
I always forget how far CBGB's like declined, like how bad it got before they closed.
Jesus, Scott.
How far they fell.
And this performance was in 2003.
I think they're in the New York airport now. Like, God, what a waste of a legacy. Very like legendary New York punk spot.
So I have to pause. We're at about 4 minutes now. So I've introduced the water to each cup. You wait about 4 minutes, and now we're gonna go around the ring, and we're gonna break the crust.
Oh, break the crust.
After you pour the water over each coffee, kind of a crust kind of forms of a little bit of the grounds on top.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do what's called break the crust, you're gonna push your spoon down into the coffee grounds.
Okay.
And stir slightly, not aggressively, just a little bit, and then get your nose right up in there and see what it smells like. All right, so let's do that real quick.
Okay. I'm gonna watch you guys first. Okay, I see what's happening.
And you want to rinse your spoon off each time you dip, so you're not getting your coffees mixed up.
Okay, right now I just sniffed the dusty notes. It is kind of light. It's a medium roast.
Yeah, what is interesting is we have the coffee set up light to dark, and each one, so the meat puppets is a little bit more of a medium roast, which is probably what you see a lot in a lot of specialty shops these days.
The corn one is a dark roast. It smells lighter than I expected.
Yeah, it's on the medium dark side. It's not like a full dark. So, and then you go to the Odinforce, and it's like a dark.
I will say the Odinforce didn't have much of a aroma for me. It was a little more muted.
I'll say these coffees are visibly discernible in color.
Yeah.
With the dark matter being the medium roast, it is definitely lighter. And Odinforce is definitely the darkest one, which is
I had to
as
take
it's
off my
advertised.
sunglasses so I could see what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, so we got a good whiff of each coffee. And now you're going to take both your spoons like we practiced, boys. All that crust we just broke and got a good whiff of, we're going to scoop that off the top. And then
scoop it.
Maybe do that one by one so that we can each use this little bowl to put it in. So I'll start.
Okay, you guys go.
Okay, before we taste these, which ones are you most excited about?
Well, I'm actually most excited for the Valhalla Java because I think I've heard more about that than any of the other ones.
Okay.
And then I'm excited for Korn Koffee because Korn are my boys, and it's so fucking weird that they have a goddamn coffee that they put out.
Yeah.
And then Dusty Notes is in third once more.
I'm going to say I think I will probably enjoy Dusty Notes more just because I like that type of roast more, the lighter roasts.
I think I'm with you on that. I think I like the more medium, lighter roast.
I am fascinated by the other two. I think the other two are way more interesting. The packaging is like crazy for each of them, and just the fact that there's like a corn coffee, like you said, is awesome.
It's so strange.
So with the background in Korn, kind of what I was getting at was I have a different experience with each of these bands. So Meat Puppets, knew nothing about, just listening. I think it's the closest of what I would listen to today of the three. Korn, I have the interesting background as a youth, the vivid memories of talking about it with you, Ian, of their live CBGB performance and just being really into that. The vivid memory of trying to like show Korn to my mom and how like shocked she was.
Was she shook?
I was like, yeah, it's good. Listen. And then, I mean, Korn is not something you just like give to somebody nonchalantly.
In retrospect, I'm surprised that my parents ever actually let me listen to it.
Yeah, it's not.
Like, goddamn. Like, I don't know if you remember the song. They've got a song off their second album that is, like, the title of the song you can't really pronounce because it's a K, capital K, and then a bunch of, like, signs, like you would bleep out a curse word, like the @ sign and an exclamation point and the pound sign. Yes, I said the pound sign and not hashtag. And like the song is pretty much just how many fucking cuss words can we put into a song? Like titty balls, bitch, cunt is like one of the lines in it, sort of.
Wow.
It's aggressive.
So edgy. And
that was the song I always had to make sure I skipped if the parentals were around.
Yeah.
That's like something you hear kids talking about on the playground. Like, dude, you hear
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Hear that song?
That's kind of what
That's
I mean.
so tight. So Dan, what are you looking forward to the most here, from a purely coffee standpoint?
Wrapping up my initial thoughts,
No. Yeah,
Zakk
sorry.
Wylde.
We keep interrupting you.
I don't have a big. I think I've heard a lot of his music indirectly, obviously with
Yeah.
his work with Ozzy Osbourne. So I appreciate all that. Otherwise, I don't have a big real thought about him. So
Black Label Society.
Meat Puppets, I have no background. Zakk Wylde, indirect background. Korn, direct background that I'm slightly ashamed of at this point.
Oh no.
My man.
No.
So
I think ICP should step into this.
get some
Get into the
Juggalo.
bean game. Yeah. Get some clown beans.
Now I heard that they came out, I don't know if it was a joke or not, and said, "I'll surprise everybody. We've been a Christian band all this time."
ICP? Oh, yeah.
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 So maybe they could do that and then be like, "Guys, these are Christian beans. What's up?"
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll say about ICP, you may not enjoy their music, but they are not a gang. I stand in solidarity with the Struggalos.
The Struggalos.
Struggalos, that's good.
Jesus.
So
and
we
Struggalettes.
got your back. Whoop, whoop. Your buddies.
Nice. As far as which coffee I'm excited for, they're all very different, kind of as we've explained. Each one's roasted very different. They're all blends, but the Meat Puppets is noticeably a lot lighter.
I think that one
on the
smells the
light
best
to
for me.
medium roast. And I am familiar with the roaster since I spent some time in Chicago. So I'm excited to see.
Oh, they're from Chicago?
Yeah, Dark Matter is based in Chicago.
Okay.
So I'm pretty familiar with them. They're well known in Chicago. So that is what I'm excited for. Otherwise, the other two are pretty dark. So we'll see how those do. But it'll be interesting to see three very different roasts together.
You were saying
Three
that
blends.
that dark roast typically has less of a like subtlety to it, less notes. Like
Yeah. So if I'm speaking extremely generally, the more you roast a coffee, the more you're going to taste the roasting process versus the like intrinsic flavors you get.
I see, like the
in,
flavor
the beans.
compounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of those as you go, because it's science. You know science, right?
Right. Science,
Scott,
guys.
Scott, you know science. You are a scientist.
Pretty much at each,
Loosely.
as the roast develops and you're hitting a certain temperature and a certain time,
I believe that's the Maillard
different
reaction.
compounds are. There's a Maillard. Do you know?
Yeah, no, I wasn't blowing smoke out.
There's drying, Maillard, and development phase. Yeah, there's 3 phases. The
Yeah.
general phases, but within each phase and temperature, like specifically, certain compounds and certain reactions happen that give it certain flavors.
Right.
And as you go darker, you're either going more time or you're going more heat.
I used to love the dark, but I'm all about the lighter medium roasts now. I think a lot more acidic typically for my.
Yeah, because as you roast darker, you lose those the
Yeah.
acidity, a lot of the sweetness. It all kind of just goes into
And I love that.
more roasted
I like-
characteristics.
Yeah, and I like roasted too. It just, I think I'm appreciating the lighter ones lately. So I'm looking forward to Dusty Notes.
Yeah.
Which is also the name of their new album, Meat Puppets' new album.
I was surprised. Yeah, when I opened the bag, I was like, "This is a lot lighter than I expected. Let's do this.
Yeah.
let's see what they got cooking."
All right, guys, you want to dig in here?
Yeah, let's dig in.
Let's start with Dusty Notes.
go for a first
Same
sip.
order.
Let's dip our wicks.
First up, boys with some slurps. For the listeners, you're going to hear some loud slurpage here. We got Scott and Dan with some deep spoons. I also have a deep spoon. They're going for the Dusty Notes. I'm about to go for the Dusty Notes. Boys, give me your thoughts.
Wow. Yeah, it's got some nice acidity. It's not aggressively acidic. It's got some
No.
good sweetness back notes.
That's great. I really like that. I think that without tasting, I haven't tasted the other ones yet, but that's exactly the type of coffee that I like.
Yeah, I think I might be right there with you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I forget the exact compound of their blend. I think all these are roughly South American blends. So they're not going to be super fruity or like crazy on the acidic level,
Yeah.
but they're going to have some good sweetness you should be looking for.
It's a good sweetness on that one.
Some more, it's more of like a light, like a citrus acidity. It's not like aggressive or
Yeah.
like a dark, but it's nice.
It's not like a berry acidity.
No, not at all.
Let's see what they say about it. The Meat Puppets are a deep font of creativity, a national treasure, living life with no half measures, resilient, diverse, and steeped in their influences, innovative and submersive.
Steeped.
The band has inspired musicians and audiences nationwide for decades. We at Dark Matter are stoked to collaborate with them on Dusty Notes, inspired by their new record and our shared ideals. Stoked. They're fucking stoked about it.
Their new record wasn't. I listened to a little bit of it. I wasn't like.
I thought it was bland.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting though. So, props. I don't know why I was expecting it to be bad, but
it was better than some of their first material. I was surprised that some of their first material is. It's I don't know. I wasn't digging on that. Wrong? Do you say?
Well,
I think it's wrong. I really like their old stuff. I mean, their first album is really, really crazy, but the second one is top notch.
This is Oh Me off Meat Puppets 2.
Mm-hmm. Meat Puppets 2 that's the jam.
Is it though?
I'm telling you yes. I'm telling you this is the jam.
what do you classify them as? What genre do they fit into?
They started out a little bit more punk, and this album gets kind of punk, but I feel like it's kind of like a southern rock punk kind of thing. Like a southern rock, almost country punk kind of thing. It's pretty loose.
Yeah, because it seems
sloppy.
like it spans a lot. Kind of as you're saying, it's hard to pin it down.
As
I was listening, that's kind of what I was feeling like. Oh, there's this like a certain thing, and then some like violin or something coming in. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a very weird band. Hard to classify. They got a little grungier later on. I think that they started out punk. They got a little sloppy rock, and then grunge stuff, and now they're going back to their like country type of roots. So
people would recognize this from Nirvana.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was actually a Meat Puppets song. I knew the other one was.
I bet a lot of people didn't.
Yeah. I knew the other one. What's the other one on Nirvana Unplugged? See him again till the 4th of July. This has a cool riff though.
this is a cool song.
Shit, what's the name of that song?
If I saw it, I would know. I just like.
Yeah, Up on the Sun. This song had a pretty cool riff to it.
This song's pretty tight. It's a little later period, slightly later period.
Yeah, I dig this one.
Lake of Fire, is that the one you're talking
Lake
about?
of Fire. That's exactly what I'm talking about, and I couldn't even think of it.
Yeah.
What a dumb bitch.
Cool.
You're fired. You're Lake of Fired.
Should we taste coffee number 2?
Yeah.
Let's go into Korn.
Let's move on to Korn.
So make sure you dunk your spoons to rinse off
Oh yeah.
any residuals from.
I got my own cup.
Try
here.
hot coffee or hot water,
Okay.
so your spoon doesn't cool your coffee more.
Very good point.
All right, so this is Korn Coffee.
Moment of truth.
All right, boys. Dip your deep spoons. Korn Koffee. After almost 25 years of touring, making records, and playing in front of all our amazing fans, parentheses, you, in case we didn't know, one thing has remained a constant in our daily routine: coffee. The ritual, the brew, the aroma, and most importantly, that very first cup every morning, which sets the tone, is something we look forward to every day. Because of our passion, we've gotten together with a roaster and handcrafted our very own blend of coffee, in quotes, with a capital K. We hope you enjoy, share, and join us in savoring many cups of coffee for years to come. Passion for coffee, huh? Oh, that's probably because they all got sober, or most of them.
Yeah.
They had to turn to something.
Once there's no drugs or alcohol, you got to enjoy something, huh?
Hey,
Specialty coffee.
Yeah, except,
or
you know
coffee.
what? Monkey, I believe, vapes, and I think he still drinks a little bit, but I don't think he ever really got out of hand the way some of them did. Jonathan Davis got sober after the third album. Fun fact, the first track on that album, when he was recording the vocals, there were like orgies and shit going on in the background.
for real?
Yeah, like in the
Scott
studio.
is not surprised.
Hey,
I was surprised, actually.
you guys ever watch the show Mind Freak?
Mind fuck.
Chris Angel. So last week I saw a music video. It was Chris Angel doing a theme song for his show, I guess, and Jonathan Davis was in the studio with him.
What?
I'm the Mind Freak.
Oh God.
Something reality. It's so bad.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's probably
And Jonathan Davis
bad.
was like bobbing his head and stuff. It was like a really cringy clip.
It's probably bad. You know what, man? Korn's got some cringy shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a fan. They got some cool stuff that they do, but
That was a real time capsule moment.
yeah.
I was watching a clip of Mind Freak like the week before randomly, and it was like
When was this? When was this that they were recording that? And did you see this?
it was probably like 2003. I saw it last week.
Oh, it's that long ago.
It was a while. Like,
Okay.
I don't know when, but it might have been 2010 for all I know. But he was like levitating in the middle of the desert, and he's just like I'm doing the ultimate levitation. There's nothing around me. It's a full open field, and like
He had his pants off?
it was so fake. They had like a helicopter was like circling him with like footage, and like as he got to the top and started levitating, he started screaming. He's just like, ah! And then this like jet passed over him, like right as he was reaching the climax.
He was about to climax in the air?
It looked like it. Yeah. He literally like his like crotch was like thrusted out. Like
Oh,
he was
God.
like levitating, and he's just like, oh!
So he was coming.
And then the jet was just like, whoosh.
He really is a mind fuck.
Yeah, what a piece of crap.
So wait, what does the jet have anything to do with it?
It was just a really cheesy thing that they did.
Is that what like released? Oh, okay.
It
That's
was
not
just-
like what released the ragdoll dummy that came back down to earth.
It's like if you had any doubt that it was like real or fake, then that solidified that it was very fake.
Huh.
Anyway, so what do you guys think about the corn coffee?
Well, I'm gonna
First-
say this.
Yeah,
It's not too bad. It's okay.
it's pretty basic.
It's very different. Yeah.
It's kind
I
of
mean, I
got
don't-
like
I
dirt
don't-
notes.
Yeah, I don't think it's a flavor that I would necessarily go for. It is.
I think that
definitely
this one
darker.
has dusty notes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get a lot. The darker you go, you get a lot more like chocolate.
Yeah,
Kind of seems to be the overarching flavor profile you get.
yeah,
It's a little bit drier tasting.
It's like a
than the dusty
chocolate
notes.
chocolate brownie
drier, a
type
little
of
bit-
thing.
A chocolate
Yeah.
brownie.
Like an 85% cacao.
Cacao, yeah,
Almost 90%.
Mhm.
Pretty dry cacao.
The coca leaves. In
Nothing
this?
you really. It's more like a baking chocolate kind of flavor you get in there.
cocaine.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I don't
not
know about
super
this
dark,
one.
but
It's not bad.
It's on the darker side. I have a feeling that once we get to the Odinforce, we're gonna go back and be like, oh yeah, that wasn't so dark.
Yeah, I like it, but when I compare it, going from the dusty notes to this, I will say the dusty notes is like noticeably way better.
Yeah.
I think better as well.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
way better.
Generally, as you're roasting darker, you lose a lot of the complexity. So it is more of all the nuances kind of get baked away, and you get kind of a very solo note of chocolate.
Nuance.
So it's analogous because like corn probably produces a lot more coffee, but Meat Puppets is like smaller batch but way better quality.
I don't know if it's better quality.
Hard to say since they don't list the roaster that they worked with.
You fucking dickhead.
Corn didn't list their
You
roaster.
just said you liked it better.
I didn't. The corn one?
No, the Meat Puppets one.
Dark Matter is
Yeah, but I'm defending my boys.
Dark Matter is
You're
a pretty
changing your
well-known-
opinion just to defend corn.
Yeah, the coffee
Okay.
K.
You're a shill. Corn shill.
Are we ready to
Yeah, let's
try the darkest of the bunch?
let's go into Valhalla.
Valhalla
Odinforce.
Java Odinforce. Forged from the volcanic soils of Indonesia and nutrient-rich soils of Central and South America, Death Wish Coffee Company presents Valhalla Java Odinforce Blend. This masterful artisan roast has been carefully crafted for the world's most powerful guitarist, Zakk Wylde. That's a bold goddamn statement. With maximum flavor and a high caffeine content, this coffee will bring you back from the nights you thought you'd never wake up from. Do you bleed black?
That's Death. I've had Death Wish before. They have their own like you can get it in supermarkets. They kind of advertise it as high caffeine.
Is it all hardcore?
Yeah, it's got like a skull and crossbones on
Intense?
the
Okay.
cover. Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would pair with them. That's cool.
yeah,
I would say for the Meat Puppets, Dark Matter is like a pretty. That's a good fit, I guess, is what I'm saying as far as
Yeah.
They do a lot of like kind of funky stuff. All of Dark Matter's bags are like really intensely.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was saying.
Kind
It's
of
like,
weird.
It's like the people's, well, not the people's coffee, but like more artistic, more craft.
Yeah.
More
Well,
craft.
for example, their espresso blend is called Unicorn Blood,
Okay.
which is a funny name for. It's like
Yeah.
they don't take themselves super seriously.
Right.
They make it interesting and fun on all their bags and all the way they name all their coffees. So that's kind of cool.
I really like this label, the dusty notes.
It's funky.
It's funky.
It's not for everybody, but
Funky
I think
fresh.
that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do like the label, but I think I agree with your label ranking of Valhalla Java being number 1, then Dusty Notes, then Korn. This Korn coffee bag, it's just green.
It looks like a Folgers or something.
Yeah, it looks kind of generic.
Yeah. Which I kind of like. Like, I want to live in a world where that's like next to the Folgers in the supermarket.
Yeah.
You get the Korn.
That would be incredible.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott. I take that. I accept you. What do you guys think of this Odinforce?
This is like 100% cacao.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I like it.
I think it tastes good.
It's very bitter.
It is a bit
You get more bitter. Yeah. I mean, 100% cacao is bitter. So
Yeah.
it's definitely the darkest of the three.
No real complexity.
Not a lot of complexity there. Nope.
It just tastes like burnt.
There's no blueberry notes there. There's not a nice
No
like
tobacco.
orange peel citrus. Nope.
Would you say it has maximum flavor?
Yeah.
Maximum.
It's
Per
the
the label?
strongest flavored. You mentioned caffeine before. That's like kind of a common misconception between
That darker beers are more caffeinated or stronger beers are more caffeinated?
darker coffees.
Caffeinated?
Darker coffees are
Yeah.
more caffeinated and
So
stronger coffees are more caffeinated?
I heard the opposite.
that's kind of a complex issue.
okay.
So if you're thinking, a lot of people think that a light roast has more caffeine because it's roasted less, so they think that the caffeine gets cooked away.
Uh-huh.
And then a lot of people think that since dark roasted coffee is so strong in flavor, that there's more caffeine. So there's people on each side thinking that they have the most caffeine.
Well, it's like
And really,
beer, same thing. Like, well,
yeah,
not
I mean, it's
same.
like anything. You think
They fight over
don't know.
caffeine.
they're both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad argument for either one. Scientifically, it's not a really big fluctuation between either one. If you're looking at maybe a few grams here or there of caffeine, but you won't really notice it. A lot of it's more, I think it's more of just people thinking like, I'm getting more caffeine, so you feel more like,
So, from my understanding, like caffeine's pretty easy to like isolate. Do you think it's possible that they added caffeine to the beans
I doubt it.
synthetically? Okay.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, it's possible, but
Yeah.
yeah, I doubt that you would.
Yeah.
I think that just since it tastes so strong, you can,
They think it's
yeah.
okay.
The only other argument is, so as you roast coffee longer, the weight goes down, so the water content
Mm-hmm.
of the beans drops.
Okay.
So if you are dosing your coffee based on weight, you would have to use more dark roasted coffee to get to your goal weight. Does that make sense? And you'd use less light roasted coffee, less beans.
Okay.
Less beans.
So that's one way you could get more caffeine in a dark roast if you just have to use more beans to get to your weight.
Okay.
But it's really, it's like picking pennies on the ground. It's not.
Okay. Yeah, because to me, it's like when you start drinking beer and you're like, oh man, Guinness is so strong. And then it's like you
I
find out.
never thought that.
People
I never
said,
thought
I remember
that.
people saying that. Okay.
Did people think that, Scott?
People thought people are dumb. Okay. And then they were, but if you like look at the label, it's like the least alcohol.
It's like 4.5.
Yeah. It's like less
pretty
than
low.
Coors. Yeah. Just because it's dark, people are like, oh yeah, it's like a steak.
I associate darker beers with being lower alcohol content.
Well, that's not true either.
Yeah. I mean,
not always, but
you can get
generally
a 10% dark beer. You can get
You
a 10% triple IPA.
Yeah, I said
You get
associate.
20% lager.
I associate it with being
you can
lower
get a
percentage.
50%. No, you
fucking
can't.
whiskey,
99%.
a 99% alcohol beverage.
Yeah.
On cranberry, please.
I think it's
Everclear.
mostly perception.
Yeah.
So
All right, so I think we've gone through the gambit.
You guys want to run through each one by one?
Yeah, let's take a moment to kind of go back, revisit.
Get some sips in.
Slurp.
Flavor really changes after you're done with all three.
Yeah, and the more coffee cools, the more you're going to taste a lot of those things you weren't tasting before.
Yeah,
Kind
the
of
corn
same
one
as
tastes completely different for me than
if,
it did before.
You drink like an ice cold beer, a lot of those notes are kind of cooling your palate off and you're not really tasting it. Same thing with really hot beverages. You're not tasting everything you could.
So everything should be drunk at room temperature.
Not necessarily. It's whatever temperature you enjoy. But
Okay.
it is interesting to see just that as it cools, you're going to taste a little bit different things here and there, and just be able to really savor it more. Going back to the corn, it has a little bit of something in the back note.
Yeah,
A little bit.
I didn't catch it when we went straight from the dusty notes.
Yeah.
But coming
back from
Valhalla,
the Odinforce, getting blasted with that 100%
Yeah.
cacao.
I was going back and we went all the way into Valhalla, which is just like one note. It's just like pure bitterness and like chocolateness.
Yeah.
And then you go back to corn and there's like a little bit more acidity than I realized at the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting progression. I think it makes a lot of logical sense. I think my opinion will be very like based on just the roast in this example.
Yeah, safe to say. They're all blends of similar origin to some degree to be able to be comparable.
Yeah.
It's not like one is only African blend and one is only like a Guatemala blend. They're all kind of
Yeah.
dipping a little bit into each wheelhouse.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the Valhalla said like what 2 or 3 different countries, right?
Indonesia and Central South America. So
Yeah.
didn't really say specifically where in any of those, but yeah, they're just saying they picked a couple, and
I'm assuming Zakk Wylde traveled to each of them individually.
I'm sure he went to Origin and picked out the specific. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a full cupping table of each one.
He trekked by foot into Indonesia,
Get it, Mr. Wild.
and then he let go of his eagle to harvest the berries.
He tapped his guitar fretboard the whole way.
Yeah. He was like the Moses of coffee,
Chicken picked it.
Moses of shred.
I wanted to ask you guys something. What did you guys think of Children of the Corn, the collaboration with Ice Cube?
So yeah, you made us listen to this in preparation.
All right. I didn't make you do shit.
I didn't listen to that. Sorry, I don't know.
This is
Well,
really
now you can. Yeah, this is on the
really
playlist.
weird. This song really
Shit.
weirded me out.
It's very strange, and the lyrics are just bad. It's supposed to be from the perspective of an angsty teen, a kid who's
The name is
misunderstood.
bad. Everything about this is bad.
Children, I knew you were going to really dislike it. I dug it when I was a kid, but now listening back to it, this is so dated. It does not hold up.
I'm just really disappointed in Ice Cube. I mean, he's done plenty of things to disappoint me, but this is just like too far. I mean, like, are we there yet? I would watch that 3 times before I listen to this again.
Damn. Yeah, it was odd to me that Ice Cube collaborated with Korn, and then it was odd for you that Nas collaborated with Korn. They've had a lot of rap collaborations. It's weird.
Korn's discography is just like an endless source of disappointment for me.
That's not true, because you haven't heard their entire discography. Did you listen to this song?
I can't
Let's
take
get this
any more.
party started.
I did.
This song makes me want to break shit. This song gets me really pumped up. This is one that
It's got that
I'll
classic single note, little.
single note.
That bing, bong, bong, bong.
That's 3 notes.
Yeah, but like they're not
least.
chords. Okay,
No
my
single
point
note.
is they're not chords.
No, they play power chords and then they turn off the distortion and play some.
They do like little twiggy
Twiggy, yeah.
note.
That's a good way to put
Twiggy
it.
notes.
Twiggy. They get twiggy.
They get twiggy with it.
Getting twiggy with it.
Yeah, I will say it's probably their best.
That's off their what I think is their best album.
Okay.
So if that was the best on the list for you, then that's the album. Maybe I'll find something that you'll at least be like, you know what? That is kind of cool. I'll give you that. That's all I'm trying to get out of you.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's not awful.
So what are you guys' thoughts this time around? You guys want to give a final ranking?
Let's do a ranking and a rating. How about that?
Okay. Dan, go ahead and give us your thoughts as our in-house beanosaur.
The Beanman.
My Beanosaur thoughts.
Beanie Dan.
May or may not be surprising.
Yeah.
Pretty much ranking these in order of roast intensity.
Yeah.
So light to dark is the way I'm gonna call it.
So Dusty Notes number 1.
Dusty Notes number 1.
Korn.
The Korn Coffee number 2, and the Valhalla Java number 3.
So Ian, you bought the Korn one. You bought all of these.
That's correct.
Was there a different roast? It says dark roast on the Korn one. Is there only one variety?
Yeah, that's all they have. It was either
Okay.
whole bean or ground.
Okay, they're all dark roast.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just go around with. You know, actually,
What's the
let's rate.
rating too?
Let's rate them too.
So I ranked. What's the rating we're gonna do here?
Rating.
Yeah, let's
said
rate. Let's
rank
rate them all.
and rate.
Let's just go buck
Rate 'em
wild.
up.
Of 1 to 10.
Let's do bean.
Out of how many Norse gods
Yeah.
in relation to Valhalla?
So we're basing the rating system off of
Off of just one.
Christ. How many fucking
This was my idea. I'm sorry.
bean on the cobs and Norse gods and
How many
dirty notes?
Okay, yeah. How many beanie meat corns do you? How many godly beanie?
Scott,
meat
this
corns?
fucking sucks.
This is a horrible. We could do so much better. What could we do? What? So they're all coffee.
How many dank slurps you give these?
There you go. That's better.
So we'll do our rating out of dank slurps. So Dan, you ranked them already. I'll have you start with the Valhalla Java. How many dank slurps you give that?
Let me go the opposite. Let me go the way of my.
So you want to go? Okay.
Oh, you want me to go up? Does that make more sense?
So yeah, I feel like that's
All
more
right, so
dramatic.
I'll go for 3 to 1.
So your lowest
Valhalla
to highest.
being my least favorite.
Yeah.
The number of dank slurps for the Valhalla Java so 10 dank slurps is
10 out of 10
like
is
a really bright, complex, balanced acidity, sweetness, like everything you'd want in a cup of coffee.
That's like
a 1 is
that's something that the gods would drink.
something perfect for the gods of Valhalla.
Yes.
A 1 being something I wouldn't drink.
Right.
So for the Valhalla Java, I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 dank slurps.
Wow.
3 dank
3 out of
slurps.
10.
3 out of 10. So
It's very intense.
if I was served it at like a diner, I would drink it, probably add some cream,
Okay.
and I would probably have a couple cups and it'd be all right.
Wow. It's a very low rating. What about the Korn
Coffee,
dank slurps?
I'll give that a 4 because there was a little bit of complexity on the back end, but it wasn't super noticeable. There wasn't a lot of sweetness. The complexity was barely there. Mostly just a dark blend, so that'll be a 4.
All right.
Something again that I'd probably get from like a neighborhood diner and add some cream.
That's the cream is the kiss of death. What about Dusty Notes? How many danky slurps you give that?
Dusty Notes.
Danky Kong slurp.
Yeah, I think it was easily by far my favorite, just in the fact that it is more of a medium roast. It did have some complexity to it, some fruit notes. It had really nice sweetness. I'd probably give it, I don't know if you'd be surprised, maybe like a 5.5.
Danky Kong
Whoa.
slurps.
Okay.
Damn, so
That's
none of
pretty low.
these are pretty good in your eyes.
Well,
They're all like okay.
10 is, I'll give it a 6. How about that?
Okay.
I mean,
Go
you
up
can
to
do
a
whatever you
6.
want. Like, what would be a 9 for you? 10?
Well, 10 is coffee for the gods, is a coffee that perfects every,
Right.
yeah.
Does that exist?
Have you had that before as a
Not a-
beanman?
Yeah. I've had some like 9.5s. Yeah.
Have you ascended?
I've not ascended. No.
Bean Nirvana? Have you ever reached Bean Nirvana?
No. That's why I'm still aspiring to get better in experience.
Okay. You got to meet the Beanie Llama and
Bean Fuchsias say
But-
to reach Bean Nirvana.
6 by no means,
are you
I guess
mixing
to
up
me,
things?
6 seems
What?
low, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag that I'm some like hoity-toity, but
You have the most
standard is
you have the most refined palate out of us. So
That tells me that the best coffee you've ever had is probably around like an 8.
well,
Yeah.
he already
Well, I've had
said
some
like
Based
nines.
on your,
yeah.
you've had some 9s.
Yeah.
Okay.
but I've had a lot of 8s.
Okay.
Consistently, Temple Coffee, we serve 8s and 9s.
Okay.
So,
They're not paying us to say that, although they're paying you
yeah,
a living
if
wage.
I were to say on average, I mean, and they have a very high standard of the coffee they're going to source and serve. And yeah, it's in that range.
And if you were to say that they get as close to 10 as anyone can, then they'll have to give you a raise.
Yeah. You listening, Temple?
No.
Yeah.
They're not listening.
Are you listening to us, Temple Coffee?
Do you even listen?
Do you even Sacramento shit?
But Dusty Notes was good. I would of the 3, I would drink that.
Yeah.
Again, I'd brew that. It would be a great like breakfast blend coffee, something you have in the morning, have a couple cups of, and it's sweet, not too complex, not too acidic. It's very approachable. I would do it again.
Cool. Okay.
So 6. Also, so the more I get up, the more like intense flavors you may add, which you wouldn't have like a bunch of something super intense. Like if you're comparing to beer, like a double IPA is really, really strong. It's like really intense flavors. You wouldn't drink like 4
Yeah.
because your palate gets kind of tired.
Right.
You know?
As soon as you drink an IPA, you don't want to go back to a lager.
So it's a little bit similar,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
6,
It's
a pretty good coffee. I would do it again.
Fair.
You want to go next, or you want me to go next, Ian?
You go next.
Okay. I'm ranking mine exactly the same as Dan. So I'm going Valhalla, Korn, Dusty Notes, Meat Puppets. Just same reason. I feel like Valhalla was just like one note. It was, and I actually liked it. The first time I drank it, it was like so overwhelmingly bitter. It was like, I kind of enjoy that. But at the same time, it's like, if I'm ranking quality, it's just, they roasted it a lot more. So it's like is that really something I should commend? Korn Coffee when I went back to it, it had a little more going on than I realized at first. The first time I tried it, I thought it was like straight up Folgers dirt, but
Folgers dirt.
put in the compost bin or something.
Not even their coffee.
Yeah,
Just their bean dirt.
The dirt they sweep up off the floor in the Folgers factory.
yeah, exactly. And then Dusty Notes was like really good. So I'm not as refined as Dan. So I'm gonna probably rate mine a lot higher. Out of Dank Slurps, Valhalla Java, I'm giving that a 6 because I did like it and I thought it was notable in how burnt tasting it was, and I like that. So
6 danky
for what it does,
slurps.
yeah, for what it does, it deserves at least 6 Danky
Kong slurps.
Slurpees. Korn, I didn't like it at first, actually. The first time I had it, I was like really disappointed with it, but going back to it, I did like it. I'm going to go 6.5. I think there's a little bit more going on there. It's a lighter roast, but it's still dark roast. I think but there's a little something back there that kind of pokes this little head out, little prairie dog head.
And stop talking about your penis, please.
Prairie dog that's a poop thing.
Yeah,
It's also a Scott's dick thing.
that's what my dick do. And then Dusty Notes is great. This was really expensive, right, Ian?
That one
Dusty
in
Notes.
particular,
Or were they all about the same?
they're all pretty
I
similar.
bet they're all expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you buy
that one
any
might have
coffee
been
online.
That one might have been the most expensive. I don't remember.
This is like the most. I feel like this is the most craft one. It just looks. It's got like a shiny. I don't know. It's got a look to it.
Are you going to complete any sentences?
Well, it depends if I complete any thoughts. So, in summary, I would buy that again. I thought it was great, and I'm not doing the cupping thing before. I don't know how good it can get, so I'm gonna go 8 with that one because I thought it was like
8.
really good, and I think if I put this in my AeroPress, it would like kick ass.
8 Danky Kong slurps.
Mm-hmm.
Slurpees.
Funky King Slurp.
Funky Kang Slurpees.
Hush puppies. Slush puppies. What am I saying?
Slut puppies. Scott, you want me to go next?
There's no one else left.
Then I'll go next. All right. My thoughts on these might actually surprise you guys. The first time through, I agreed with you guys. Dusty Notes was the best. Then Korn Koffee. Then Valhalla Java. No, I'm lying to you. My first time through, my thoughts were Dusty Notes, then Valhalla Java, then Korn Koffee last.
Wow.
Listeners of the pod might have heard me taking multiple slurps long after you guys did because my taste for these changed drastically throughout this episode.
Okay.
And what I've concluded is that I think Korn Koffee is still consistently last for me.
Okay.
Then Dusty Notes, then Valhalla Java in number 1
What the hell?
by a margin.
Cue the air horn. Yeah, and the slide whistle.
By just a little bit. And
Wait, you just said by a wide margin by just a little bit?
It said just by a margin.
He said small margin.
Oh, a small margin.
I didn't
okay.
say any kind of size margin, but it is small margin.
I inserted the word wide in my brain.
Yeah, what have I told you about not putting words in my mouth? Only when I ask, then put it in my mouth. Between Valhalla and Dusty Notes, Odinforce and Dark Matter Coffee, it kind of flip-flopped back and forth. Dusty Notes is definitely a bit sweeter and has a little bit more going on. But the Valhalla Java is kind of just to the point, and there's something in that robust flavor that it has that kind of does it for me. And now, I'll say this. I'm coming as someone who, as I always come, as someone who drinks shitty Keurig coffee every day at work and have been for a few years. So I'm going to say, honestly, all these are bangers for me.
Yeah.
These are all good.
I thought they were all good, too,
These are all
actually.
better than what I drink on a daily basis.
Yeah, if you're getting like a diner coffee or like a workplace coffee, I feel like these are all better. And it might just be the preparation, too. I will say that I think that I respect your opinion.
Uh-huh.
Because the Valhalla Java is like uniquely burnt. Like it's like it's so like,
and this can change from
yeah.
day to day.
But it's like if you like this flavor, this does it better than anything else I've ever had. If
Gotcha.
you like the burnt roast,
Yeah.
it's just like
The extreme dark.
it's notably just intensely burnt.
Notably dark.
Yeah, it does that so well that, you know, that could be your favorite coffee. I wouldn't like doubt it. Like,
Yeah.
if someone said, "Oh, Valhalla Java is my favorite," it's like that's fine because it's doing what it's doing the best I've ever had.
Right. Yeah, and the corn coffee, I don't know, man. I was kind of disappointed in that. And I don't know if maybe this just isn't the freshest batch. We had some troubles with shipping. It was a bit of a delay.
How long do they delay your shipment?
They delayed it a few weeks.
Okay.
They were moving warehouses, and there was a delay in all kinds of in shipment for everybody. So I don't know if this is a more fresh bag that they got after moving warehouses, or if this has just been sitting in a fucking box truck somewhere. So that one was, I mean, it's still good. Korn Koffee, I'll give, let's see, Funky Kang Dongs. What's the rating system?
Dank Slurps is the
Funky Dank Slurps. I'm going to give that a solid 5. I think it's good, but I don't think it meets any sort of necessarily extraordinary expectations for me, so it's kind of down the middle.
It's not exceptional for you.
It's not exceptional for me.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go Dusty Notes, and I think that's pretty damn good. And I think that is, shit, man. That might be like an 8 for me.
If I was a meat puppet, I'd be proud of that.
Yeah, that's close to an 8, if not an 8. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Funky Kang Dong Slurps. The Slurps. Valhalla Java is like an 8.2.
You're getting
in relation to Dusty Notes.
to the tenths.
Yeah, it's not even like a half above. It's very just barely, and that's more personal preference for me.
Yeah.
If I were to judge it by which one has the most going on and most respectable flavor, Dusty Notes would probably be number one. I think that one is a little more active on your taste buds. That's what you're going for.
Yeah.
I think the Korn was kind of mundane, and the Valhalla Java was straight to the point, as you said, just black coffee at its finest.
And hearing your spiel, I think I will say, like, if it gets cold and like Christmas time, I might reach for the Valhalla out of this batch because it's the most like roasty and like comforting, I feel like.
Yeah. There's a level of comfort in that. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was good. And the Dusty Notes, like I said, man, I could wake up in the morning and think I fucked up and think that the Dusty Notes was better.
Well,
I'll be drinking more of these, so I'll report back and see what happens.
we have about $75 of coffee here that Ian will be working on for the foreseeable future.
Couple months. You drink coffee slowly in this house.
Yeah, we do. But it's because I get free coffee at work, and I just deal with that, and then I just drink these on the weekends.
I'll take some off your hands.
Yeah.
Did I pay for any of these?
No.
Okay, cool.
I think the takeaway here is it's hard to compare three very differently roasted coffees.
Yeah,
And
it's really
at the end of the day, we kind of chose based on the roast level
Yeah.
more so than the coffees themselves. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
Now, did you guys go more personal preference on how you thought the flavor was, or kind of like took factor of like what's going on in each one? Like how Valhalla Java, Dan, you said that it's more one note. Some could view that as blah, boring.
Scott said one note.
yeah.
Scott said one note. Scott, you might have said...
I get credit for that.
Okay, you get credit for that. One note. Would that rank lower because it's boring and maybe it's...
I mean, with coffee, can you do anything other than personal preference? I guess.
Yeah, I think as far as how I was looking at it, it's kind of a couple different ways. Like it's a combination. It's my personal preference which also kind of aligns with how coffee is rated kind of in a large like scale professionally. So looking for a complexity, sweetness, acidity, all these things to grade what is a good coffee.
I might cut that portion out anyway because I'm realizing that was kind of a dumb question.
So you're saying that you like that coffee because you like that coffee?
No,
Not
that's
because it's
interesting.
good. Not because it's good or
Now
bad.
wait one chicken picking minute.
But because you like it.
You're saying you like it, so you like it?
So when you drink the coffee, do you put it in your mouth?
So what you're telling me is
That's amazing.
you liked it, so
Now
you
wait
like
a minute.
it. But did you like it because you like it? Or because you like it?
Did you like this coffee because you liked it or because you liked it? Because I'll tell you, that's California
Come here.
gold.
Come over here. Come on. I'll walk to you.
Well, boys, looks like we talked about coffee today. How about we stop?
This happened on today's episode of Bean Buddies.
Do you guys have any parting words?
I do.
Go for it.
If anybody wants to get a hold of us for any goddamn reason at all, they can contact us at earbuddieспod@gmail.com and earbuddieспod on all other platforms.
Boom. And Earbuddies on Facebook.
Yeah, that counts as a goddamn platform.
But you said Earbuddies Pod. It's just Earbuddies on Facebook.
Shit. Earbuddies on Facebook, Earbuddies Pod on everything else. Oh,
Yeah.
except YouTube. I think YouTube is Earbuddies by itself.
Well,
That's all I had to say. You guys...
you have anything you'd like to promote or talk about, Dan, or just say in general?
When are you working next?
That's a wide...
What's your schedule for the next couple weeks? For
Just
the
say some
listeners?
words, yeah.
In case anybody wants to drop in and say hello.
I roast Sunday to Thursday.
Okay. If you're in the
So-
Sacramento area.
Easiest way, Tuesday to Thursday, I'm in there in the afternoons.
Yep.
Hot.
He's the bean man, so if you guys got some beans and you want to throw them at him.
If you want to throw beans at a guy that's actively roasting coffee,
Guy
that's
that's
in 29th.
Guy that's
in
just trying to do his job.
Midtown Sacramento. If you want to both wait in line for the bathroom and throw beans at somebody that's trying to
Hey, I say go for it.
effectively roast coffee,
If you want to throw stuff at a guy that's trying to do his job, you know where he works.
other than that, thanks for having me on. I always enjoy tasting any coffee. I hope I didn't come across as some sort of coffee snob, because
Hey, you're our in-house
I try
coffee
not
snob.
to be,
That's
although I
fine.
come across as snobbish because
I think just
That's how it is.
in contrast, we just like we propped you up to be the snob, so that's on us.
yeah, it's okay. I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take the bashing.
That's all right.
Everybody can come bash me at my place of work.
Yeah.
Everybody, come throw beans at Dan and bash him.
Let's get some sweet liability claims set up for Dan. Go bash him in his workplace.
Come on, why aren't you bashing Dan?
Scott, anything you want to add? What do you got going on?
You can find me, driving around town. if you want to find me. And other than that, follow me on Instagram. My name is Scoob Duder, and also I manage all the other social media stuff.
That's not true.
I co-manage,
That's fair.
and I'll be drinking these coffees. I hope I'm gonna try to steal some coffee from Ian.
If anybody needs to get a hold of me, I'll be driving around Sacramento doing some stuff, going back and forth from my office.
Various tasks.
Various tasks, cleaning my house, picking up after mine and my wife's cat. And I am on Instagram at Grand M Flip. If any of y'all want to chat or give me some sweet comments.
Send me some pics of those beans.
Send me some pics of your beans. As long as they're... God.
Let's
I got nothing.
let's end this.
Everybody out there, check your Diddy My. Until next time, this has been Ear Buddies.
Goodbye.
This has been another installment of the Ear Buddies podcast. Bye-bye now.